Welcome to the Mind Your Wedding Business podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Dennis. In addition to leading the charge at Wedding IQ, I also run Fantasy Sound Event Services, a lighting and entertainment company based in Livermore, California, that I founded over 30 years ago. Each week on this podcast, you'll hear thought-provoking and empowering interviews with wedding professionals who have found success in the industry. If you're a business-minded wedding pro who loves love, but also cares about their bottom line, buckle up and get ready to learn from a new industry expert each week. All right, welcome to another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business. I'm with the one and only Tara Melvin. So Tara, welcome.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for being here. I'm really excited because today she's going to be talking about mastering your workday, which I think all of us in the Wedding Association struggle with. And if you see everything that Tara accomplishes and all the businesses under her umbrella, and so I'm excited to learn how to master our workday because I struggle with this. I think so many of us in the wedding industry do. But before we jump into our topic, Tara, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Of course. Well, again, thank you, Kevin, for having me on here. About me, oh my goodness. As you alluded to, I am a jack of all trades, but I am a master at all. They usually say a jack of all trades and a master of none. I am a master at all. People always say, well, what is your superpower? For me, it's about having the ability to have strategic empathy. I know how to read the room. I know how to understand people that, don't have a voice for themselves. And I involve myself into their visions and their goals to make sure that action takes place. And you probably say, well, how do you do that? I do that through a variety of avenues. One, through the National Society of Black Wedding Event Professionals that I founded, going on now 5 years, and then also through the Signature CEO Conference. I like to put people in spaces, in front of people, in rooms, or giving them the access to the things that they need. And it's all about bridging the gap and creating execution and also having that perfect alignment so that everyone that's involved can reap the benefits from each other, if that makes sense. And so that's my superpower. But how did I get started? Over 20-some years ago, and I will even say before then, I always set out. I was always the little party planner, even as a child. My parents would come home in the afternoon. They're like, why are all these kids here? Why are they eating the food that we purchased for you and your sister to eat? We do not feed the whole neighborhood. So, I have people out in the garage, pull up a chair. Let me bring out the Kool-Aid. If you're my age, you remember Kool-Aid.
I know Kool-Aid.
Let me bring out the Kool-Aid, the cookies, the chips. Let's have our own little party. I would have it all fixed up. Fast forwarding, when I graduated from college, my cousin and I, we were getting ready to graduate. And I said, hey, let's have a party. He was like, well, who's going to plan all that? I was like, you let me worry about that. You invite the fellas, I'll invite the females. He was in a fraternity. I wasn't, but I knew a lot of people. And so his parents, they're now deceased, were very popular at our college because they also graduated from there too. And they were also well known in the city of Greensboro, North Carolina. And they owned a restaurant. And so I went to his father. I had my plan all mapped out. You're going to cater this graduation party, and this is what's going to happen. I love it. So he did. And I lived in an apartment. My cousin lived at home with his parents because it was in the same city. So I went to my apartment complex and talked to the people there and say, hey, I need to wipe out the entire parking lot where my building is. Went to all of the neighbors, gave them the letters, don't call the cops. The party would be from this time to this time. If you would like to come and grab a bite, you're more than welcome, but I need you to move your car. And so that all happened. We had a successful party. Over 100 and some people attended. So I claimed that as my first event. Then fast forwarding, as I'm somewhat of an adult, just having parties at my home. Then one particular year, one of my friends is like, you know, you should really think about this because a friend of theirs asked, like, hey, will you plan a party for me? And I just jokingly said, yes, I'm going to charge you because you came to my party uninvited. And so that's when my friend said to me, you should really think about this. And so I did because I was on vacation from my job. It was the holiday season. And so I got on the computer to figure out how to start a business.
I
And
love it.
out blossom. At that time, my business was called Perfect Planning Events. A year ago, I pivoted and rebranded myself, and now I'm under my LLC name, which is Signature Concepts. And so I've been going ever since with events. And my first client was a young lady that I worked with on my full time job. She came to me. She's like, oh, you want to start this event planning business? My husband is retiring from the Postal Service. Do you mind doing his retirement party? Because I don't want to do it. So it's like, okay. So that was my very first client and my very first official event that I got paid for.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, we're here to talk about mastering your workday, and I'm really excited to get into this because, like Tara said, she does so much different things out there. So we're going to really jump in and really figure it out. But how does one get started in trying to figure out their workday? I feel like we got to start from the beginning.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Well, the first thing is just figure it out what it is that you do, what is that you have to accomplish. It's almost like, and it's one of these things that it's like a nail in my coffin, and I still don't like it till this day, is budgeting your bank account, your finances.
Hmm.
Anytime you go to a finance person, what do they say? Oh, lay out all of your bills. You need to know exactly what you're paying for, this, that, and other. It's the same thing with your business. You need to outline everything that it is that you need to do and
Mm,
categorize it. Maybe, this is A, B, and C. A is top priority, B is mid tier, and C is like your low level.
hmm.
Once you figure out what you have to do in your daily routine, then that's when you start dissecting and start prioritizing your life personally and professionally, and then just prioritizing what it is that you do each week. I do block um, calendar planning,
Okay. I was going to
which
ask about that.
helps
Yeah.
which
Okay.
helps me out a lot. And basically for me, um, I have each day as far as like what it is that I'm going to do. So like today, all I do is concentrate on my event planning business. That's
Hmm.
it. You can send me an email about Signature CEO. You can send me an email about NSBWP. I'm not answering it
Hmm.
because that's not what I'm focused on for today.
Love it.
Um, when I am channeled in like that, I get so much accomplished rather than jumping from here. I'm jumping in this email. I'm jumping into this folder. I'm jumping into this. I align myself to what it is that I have to do. So out of the 5 days out of the week, I schedule what it is I'm going to do. So Mondays and Wednesdays is my business day.
Hmm.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm sorry, Mondays and Fridays are my business day. Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days that I focus on my association. And then on Wednesdays is the day that I focus on the conference.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
so, and so I'll outline everything that it is that I need to do. Once I do my calendar blocking, people are like, well, what about all of the tasks? I use a software system. Some people may say it's ancient, but I love it. It's friendly, it's easy to use. And then also, I can use it with my corporate clients. I use Microsoft Planner,
Hmm.
and basically, I put all of my tasks in there, and they automatically populate into my on my computer saying, oh, you have this to do today. Or if you go into Planner and you click on today, it tells you all of your tasks that you've assigned yourself for today.
Hmm.
Now, mind you, I still write some things down. as far as like quick things, but that's how I align myself is through my calendar blocking and then using Planner, Microsoft Planner to align myself with all of my tasks.
Well, okay, and I know you speak and you plan the conference and different things. So how do you accommodate for when like you're going to go to an industry event or something else? How do you block all that, and how do you make up for that time that maybe you missed?
So yeah, so that's basically catch up. That's basically catch up. But I
Okay.
will say that because I do channel myself and focus on those certain days, is that I get so much accomplished that if I'm out for the conference or if I'm out speaking somewhere, it's not very much that I have to catch up on.
Mm,
Because I prioritize myself. If I know that I'm going to be out the next week and I'm going to miss out on days, let's say, when I come to the NACE Experience Conference, which is
yeah.
I'm speaking on a Monday.
Hmm.
So that is my event planning company day to do all those tasks. What I will do is that my event planning days are Mondays and Fridays for my business. On that Friday, before I speak, I prioritize what is important for the next week and make sure that I get those things done.
Okay, I love it. So you're able to juggle and go through all that kind of stuff. So, all right. So why do you think all of us in the wedding in the event world struggle with managing our time?
Because we're creatives. We're not we're not people that love to be behind the scenes. And I don't know why I'm so organized. I've always been organized. I can't be in chaos. That I think that is the one skill set that we need to have in order to run and maintain our businesses, or else we are just going to be running on the hamster wheel and going crazy. And maybe we can't focus and prioritize our full work life or our full personal life. Bring in those things that you can control, and then those other things, outsource them to somebody else.
Okay.
So outsourcing is key too to help you to prioritize your business, to stay in alignment, and so that you're not all over the place. And so that outsourcing may be even from the smallest things in your house. It has been, and people will probably say, oh, some people, just 5 years ago, you hired a housekeeper. Yes, I'm a single person. I always thought, why do I need a housekeeper? I am just one freaking person,
Yeah.
right? But as you get busy as an entrepreneur, you'll be like, okay, I'll get that later. I'll get that later. So the next thing you know, you're looking at your house, you'll be like, oh my God, like
It's
what have I got
trash. Yeah.
myself into? And so outsourcing that helped me out. Outsourcing somebody cutting my lawn, outsourcing somebody doing my social media. Those things that you absolutely do not like to do, outsource it, whether it's personal or business. These are the things that are going to help you to be productive.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of us wedding professionals struggle is what to outsource. Because, like as you were saying, someone to cut. I fought my wife forever, and I was like, I'm going to do the lawn. I'm going to do, and that was like my on Monday. Usually, I would take my day off, and that was what I would do on Monday. I would cut the lawn, but then I found that when I let someone else do it, it wasn't really that expensive to have someone come in and do it. But then now I have more free time to go do things that I want to do and relax, like, and now I'm doing things that I want to do, not these things that I have to do. So I agree with you on the
Look, and
outsourcing.
they're finished cutting your lawn in 30 minutes when it would take you all day.
Oh yeah. No, it would take me a couple hours, and they come. No, 30 minutes. They're in and out of my house in
They're
15
in and
minutes.
out.
Yeah, two guys,
Mhm.
and they come. They come through there like, and they trim and they do
They don't
everything.
trim the hedges,
Yeah,
lined
yep.
everything up.
Oh,
You'd
yeah,
be
they
there.
blow it. Yeah, and they're out. I'm always shocked by how fast they're in and out of our house and how long it used to take me and all that. Yeah. But anyway, so that I think is really important advice that to go through. So like if someone's struggling to get started, what would be like the advice? Like how would we start managing the time? Like, do we do it in baby steps? Do we just go in cold turkey? What do you think would be the best way for someone that's been struggling?
I would say take baby steps.
Okay.
Again, it's all about you have to know exactly what it is that you're doing, and you just can't have it up here in your head. It's not until you see it down on paper that
Mm,
you're like, oh my goodness, I do this much stuff. And actually, when you put it down on paper, then you realize, oh, I'm doing way too much. And then you're like, something has to happen.
mhm.
Something has to happen here. Because if you constantly keep it in your head, all you're going to think is like, I can handle this. This is not too much. And guess what? You're still running in the same little hamster wheel. So I would advise putting it down on paper. Start there and it will gradually build. Don't think that you have to sit down and list every single thing. Just start listing what those things are. And then once you feel like you have kind of gotten like that full list, then start categorizing as far as like what buckets you need to put them in.
Okay.
And then I would always list those things that you absolutely just cringes your teeth to do that you don't want to do. Those may be those things that you may need to outsource.
Yeah. And then what about, do you use a virtual assistant, or do you recommend a virtual assistant for someone that's struggling with time?
I do. I don't
Okay.
use a virtual assistant. Like I
Okay.
said, I have a social media person. That was one of the things that, oh, Lord have mercy, just like, it was
Yeah.
just like somebody just sticking something in the side of my neck. So it's just like, okay, that needs to go away. A bookkeeper. Look,
Uh-huh.
I used to try and do it all myself because I'm like, okay, I got QuickBooks. How hard could this be? QuickBooks says that you can manage your own finances on your own. No. So now have a bookkeeper who is like phenomenal. So
Mhm.
she keeps up with everything. It's basically like I'm not trying to divvy up receipts, figuring out what it is. All I have to do is I purchase something with my receipt, scan it with my phone. Sometimes I'll write a little note on the receipt so that she can kind of see like what this is. And I keep it moving.
Mhm.
She does
No.
everything for me.
Yeah, and and then think about the time you get, because one, you're not an accountant. You didn't probably study that in college, and this person does. And again, back to the landscaper, they come in 15 minutes in and out, where it used to take me 3-4 hours to get all the yard work done. It's probably the same with the
Hmm.
bookkeeper. So that's probably how
Yeah.
you can gain some time in your workday by doing these outsourcing. Yeah. All right. So, like tips and tricks with tools, like you mentioned your Microsoft one that you use. Is there other kind of software that you might recommend for folks out there?
Ooh, I said one, QuickBooks. I love QuickBooks. For the invoicings, you can send estimates to people. Whenever you send estimates, if they like it, all they have to do is click it, turn it into an invoice, and pay immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I use Calendly. Oh my gosh, that is a
Oh,
lifesaver.
it
So
is.
another thing about staying focused, when people want to schedule something with me, now we'll say there would be some one-offs, vendor meetings or just clients saying, oh, I want to meet with you. I want to meet with you. Okay, this is what you need to do. Click on that link and schedule your time. I no longer go back and forth. Oh, I'm available on this day. I'm available on that day. Because what happens, I mess myself up. With Calendly, I have my calendar blocked off certain times specifically so that I can get work done during the day. If I automatically schedule somebody at a certain time and it's outside of those parameters, I know when I've screwed up because then the rest of my day is messed up. So I just keep it, hey, you need to go to my calendar. And people will come back, oh, well, you're not available. Or can you do this? No, you need to go back to the calendar, find
Yeah.
a time that suits you,
Yeah.
and we go from there. So I
Yeah.
love Calendly.
And I think that's a good, like, rule of thumb. Like, I think you have to have some kind of boundaries with your clients, out there in the wedding industry. And I think that helps you, having like I use Acuity, Calendly. There's so many of those out there. Even Zoom now has a scheduling link. I just scheduled on
Saw
someone's
that.
Yeah, I just literally used it this morning to schedule time on someone's calendar. So there's lots of
Mhm.
tools out there to do it, but it's again, Tara, you were saying that back and forth. That back and forth time is invaluable to get back all that. It's almost like you're taking control of it out there. So yeah, all
And
right.
it's taking you off focus as well, because now you got to like, "Ugh, let me stop what I'm doing. Let me go through my calendar, figure out a time," and you're going back and forth. No, none of that.
Yeah. And so now folks with staff, because that's, I think, sometimes where they get interrupted by people walking into their office and struggling with that kind of stuff. I know you don't have staff, but just thinking about, is there anything you would recommend to folks that have staff? Like, and someone recommended to me, I heard at a conference and it made me laugh, is they call it Tiger Time. They put a sign up on their door and they call it Tiger Time. And that means I'm busy working on a project, leave me alone and I'll be available in an hour or so or whatever. But any
Hmm.
advice you have for folks
Definitely
with staff?
set boundaries, and
Okay.
stick with your boundaries. I will say, oh my gosh, this is many, many moons ago. I used to have this job and I was an assistant manager in management. And those days that they had me come in early, people knew I was not a morning person. Don't talk to me till after 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Let me get in here. Let me do all the management stuff first, then talk to me after 10 o'clock. So it's all about and people, no one had a problem with it. People knew Tara's not ready when she walks through the door at 6 o'clock in the morning. She's not ready.
Yeah.
No. And
No.
that's the same thing because, if you are constantly interrupted, again, you're not getting anything done. And maybe, you establish a code word with your team, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something, poodle.
Poodle.
Poodle. When
Yeah.
somebody says poodle, okay, that means I need an hour timeout or,
Yeah.
leave me alone, those types of things. And, having those code words or whatever, not only just to give yourself time to do things, but what about if it's a stressful day and you're just like running and going and going and going, and somebody just comes at you about something, not knowing that you've had a very, high intense day.
Mm.
The entire team needs to know what the code word is. Poodle, poodle 30, poodle 60. Poodle 30 means give me 30 minutes. Poodle 60 means I just need an hour of quiet
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And that should be set for the entire team as far as like what that is,
Now,
not just for management.
I agree. I agree. Now, do you schedule in your day me time? Like going for a walk or going out to the gym or lunch, or how do you go through schedule a little bit of Tara time?
I do. And I will say I have started that. COVID got me doing that.
Oh, okay.
Before COVID, I used to go, 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 go. Then when COVID came abruptly disrupting our lives, it somewhat was a blessing because it made me realize how much work I was doing, how much time I was spending day in and day out. That I woke up, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what sleep feels like. Oh my gosh, this is what time feels like. Oh my gosh, this is what my house actually looks like. I didn't even realize I had that sitting over there. So now sometimes it may be, I never used to take naps during the day. I just thought that was just like, oh, so faux pas. You're going to take a nap during the workday.
Yeah.
I'll take me a quick little 30-minute nap during the day. A day, sometimes I'll get the dog. We'll walk to the end of the street and come back. A day like today, no, because it's 102 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So
Nope.
we're
Nope.
staying in. But yeah, doing those types of things. Another thing as far as like me time before COVID, if I did not have an event on a weekend, I was still working.
Mm.
Now I do not work.
Oh,
If
good
I
for
do not
you.
have an event on the weekend, I do not work.
That's probably some advice that I think all of us need to
Mhm.
take in the wedding industry
Mhm.
because,
And I
yeah,
just either I
yeah,
do nothing or I'm a big movie person. I'm curled up on the sofa. Um, with a cocktail, I'm watching a movie, or I'm, out hanging with friends. That gives time back to me.
I love it. I love it. All right. So advice, I guess, for the fellow just to get started, like for the people that are holding on to their work schedule and feel like they can't do it. What's advice you got for them?
Woo. Well, again, just get started. You never know what happens if you don't start. So you got to put one foot in front of the other and just get started. I would definitely say one of the things that I do is like how to create a positive day for yourself.
Oh,
Either have some type of hype music or some type of words of inspiration that you want to say to yourself, affirmations. I will say that in the African American community, um, most people that are religious, they have a closet. And literally, it is just your closet. You have a little chair that you sit in. It can be a stool, and you go in there and you pray. That could be the same thing if you're not into religion, setting up that closet. And that's just like your space, your time, especially people that have kids or a significant other. When you wake up in the morning, you just go in that closet and you shut the door, talk to yourself, do whatever to just center yourself, to get yourself ready for the day. Um, Definitely do something like that. Um, put those tools in place that's going to help you to free up that time. We've talked
okay.
about, Calendly, QAD, QuickBooks, delegating resources. Outsourcing, doing those types of things. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you want to have a life that you're able to enjoy. And then also, you want to be able to have a sustainable business. And the key thing is that health. You want to have longevity living to be able to enjoy life because, work can stress you out,
No.
put you in positions of making you rest when you don't need to rest. And you don't want that to happen. Especially with men, people of color. There are all types of health risks out there. And if we're stressed out about running a business, then all we're doing is doing damage to ourselves.
Yeah, something I was at a conference, I don't even remember which one it was, but it was very impactful that the speaker said, and it was kind of talking about like time management and different things, but she said, she was like, are you running your business or is your business running you? And then
Hmm.
and then she went in and really had people really think about like the things, and like you're saying, like outsourcing, like if you didn't outsource all your stuff, Terry, your business would be running you, instead of you running your business, kind of thing. So
Hmm.
that was probably the most impactful thing I think I've heard at a conference. When it just made me sit and think, and it's like, oh yeah, my business is running me right now, and how do I fix that, and how do I change that? So anyway.
And it's all about just setting yourself up for success. And, sometimes we got to cut off social media, cut out the noise, those things that
Hmm.
are distracting us, and just get focused.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. All right. So can you tell us a little bit about your conference before we jump off? I'd love to hear about it and let everyone know.
Awesome. Yes. So I am the founder of the Signature CEO Conference. I produce it every year for creative entrepreneurs who are looking to level up their business acumen and their leadership skills. It is a conference that is set for people that are mature in business. Even a novice person can come and learn so much at this conference. We don't talk about events. We don't talk about weddings. We talk about how to be successful business owners.
Mm.
Matter of fact, people that come to speak that are from our industry, they have a little hard time, keeping the words weddings and events out of their presentations because they're just so used to it. But it's a small boutique style conference, meaning that we take no more than 75 attendees.
Wow. That's okay. I was going to ask what your dog's name is.
So yes, we keep it, the conference is a boutique style conference where we keep it very intimate. And the reason why it is intimate is so that, people can be free to be vulnerable, so that you can freely express yourselves
Oh,
and
I like
also
that.
have that opportunity to have intentional networking where you can meet every single person in the room and
Mm.
develop some type of relationship with them. And these relationships, they carry on from the speakers to the attendees and crossing over that interconnection. It's just been a powerful, we just celebrated 10 years this past
Wow.
March. And so the 2026 conference is going to be March 17th through the 19th in the Washington, D.C. metro area. And you can go to the website to learn all about it at thesignatureceo.com.
I love it. I love it. All right. And then I'd be remiss if you mentioned movies, your big movie. What are some of your movies that you could recommend to us right now, or some that you recently watched?
Goodness. Oh, my goodness. So I also have bad memory, but let me go to my phone. Oh, so as far as like TV drama series, The Godfather of Harlem, love that.
Okay.
The Pit, which was one. That's another
Oh,
drama
everyone's been
series
talking about that. Yeah.
with Noah Wiley. He
Yeah.
is so handsome. And let's see what else.
Someone said that's a
See.
modern day ER is what they were saying, but
It
better.
is. It is,
Yeah.
but better.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely, much, much better. The Bear, love that.
Oh, I love The Bear. I'm so excited that I think it just started. I haven't even, but my wife and I'll get through that. It's so intense. And so, but so like coming from the hospitality world, it's just like, I feel like you learn a little something from it as well as from watching it. That's a good one. I recommend that one too.
Mhm. And then Nine Perfect Strangers is really
Okay.
strange this season, but
Okay.
Nine Perfect Strangers is really, really good.
All
That's
right.
just some of a few, but I
I
could
love it.
rattle off. I watch TV all the time.
Love it. All right. All right. So Tara, how do we connect with you, or how will someone find you?
Oh, just follow me on social media at Signature Concepts LLC. Or you can go to my website at signatureconceptsllc.com.
All right, perfect. And we'll have all the way to connect with Tara in our show notes. So, Tara, we can't thank you enough for being here today. Hopefully, folks are going to think about their workday. I mean, you made me think about how I'm managing my workday and things that I could be doing better. I think that's just something that all of us in the wedding industry, we all struggle with. And especially
Hmm.
is just time, the me time. I think that's the one
Yes.
thing that we all struggle with in our industry the most. So I appreciate you being
And
here. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and one quick thing, we always think that we have to do it all ourselves. That's our
Hmm.
problem.
That is
And we
really
don't.
our problem. No, I agree. And some of the most successful people I know have, like you said, outsourced it out, have VAs, hired some staff, or do, whatever, really, again, they're running their business. The business is not running them. And that
Hmm. Hmm.
I would love to remember whose class I was in that said that, but it was really one of the more impactful things I heard at a conference. So anyway, again, Tara, thank you so much. We'll have all your information in the show notes. And folks, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business, brought to you by Wedding IQ. If you've got a topic you'd love to hear us cover, or if there's an area of your business you're struggling with, let us know and we'd be happy to help. Don't forget to check out our other episodes on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're a fan, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and left a review. It helps more wedding pros find us and learn more from our guests too. Thanks again for listening to Mind Your Wedding Business. We'll catch you next time.